listening? Get going!
There is something awfully strange and scary about this game called Thank Goodness You're Here. It is a colorful and vivid game filled with jokes and strange characters. But what if there is a darker, deeper secret hidden in plain sight which is being kept away from us? Nothing in the world of Thank Goodness You're Here is normal. Everything from talking animals, the abnormally sized humans, the sarcastic and ironic implementations of products and items, to the very clear fake British accents. Take a listen to what some of the characters even sound like.
Tiny Tums, Tiny Pies. You simply won't get tinier.
Strange place, I know, but they need what we're selling, see?
Rightio, chaps. Ready for one last tug-a-roo? Grab a hold of my forum.
As the protagonist of the game is subject to a cruel experiment where his mind is being examined and studied, or is he in a simulation, like in The Matrix? The game is a big rabbit hole of strange events and circumstances, where our little yellow protagonist is thrown into. If we really dig deeper into the specifics of it, we learn there are so many misplaced items, mixing up the locations, and much more.
As big as this before.
Tiny Tums, Tiny Pies. You simply won't get tinier.
Barbara, get the big plates out.
Oh, Nigel.
Give your wife the best. Give her Big Ron's big pies.
Come on down to what is... Come on down to what is Bedhall, where we have an ample variety. So give us
Bammy Bazzers, Buttery Nubs. Bammy Bazzers, Buttery Nubs. Bammy Bazzers, Buttery Nubs. Bammy Bazzers, Buttery Nubs.
Family. Romance. Pit. Visit Barnsworth. It's rate good.
So that's Barnsworth. Strange place, I know, but they need what we're selling, see? I've got you a meeting with the Lord Mayor today, so don't miss that bus. Are you listening? Get going!
We start the game as the little yellow salesman who is forced by his boss to go to the northern English town of Barnsworth. Right off the bat, the boss plays some commercials from the town, which happens to be very odd, yet having strong British references, such as the typical habit that the businesses have of including the year that they were founded. Within the office, the water dispensary is labeled as leaded, an element known to cause lead poisoning, causing so many health complications and unfortunately something that was heavily used in the UK up until 1992. Still till now, in the fuel stations, the petrol is called unleaded, depicting that lead is not found within the petrol anymore. Leaded petrol was only banned in 1999, which slowly started to phase out in the following 2 years. The little joke here is that even the water had lead in it, and it wouldn't be far from truth, as majority of the pipes were made from lead up until 1969 or 70. So that means any house built before 1970, which didn't go through a major renovation for their pipe and water system, probably still have them. And if you know much about the real estate in the UK, majority of the houses were built before 1970s. All they really know is a set of commercials that they watch before setting up their mind to have a pitch with the mayor. As the unnamed salesman is told to go ahead and catch the next bus to Barnsworth, instead of using the front door, he jumps right through the window from the 10th floor into the bus, which takes him directly to the town, which goes to Barnsley, which happens to be a real town in South Yorkshire. So it seems as if Barnsworth is actually inspired by this town.
Good grief, lad. The front door's right there. We're 10 stories up, for crying out loud.
Going to the town mayor's office, the receptionist tells him the mayor is in a meeting and will be busy for the next few hours. She goes back to playing solitaire on her computer while using real playing cards and sticking them on the screen. This makes the salesman go out to the town and explore it to kill some time. Everyone in the town is much larger than the salesman, including the small little sweet granny. The town is chaotic, with everyone doing their own thing, having their routines and everyday tasks, yet weirdly, there is a sense of suspicion that something is really wrong. The animals, including plants, tend to speak, and everyone seems to dismiss these surreal phenomena. There's a man who has his arm stuck in the sewer's cover as he tried to reach a pence coin. That's when our little protagonist has his first surreal trip down the cuckoo world, when he visits the town's pub called Thumbiton. There we meet the town's locksmith called Ronnie, a drunk man who tends to enjoy drinks way too often, having it as a morning drink before starting his day. The landlord of the pub called Larry doesn't seem to be a responsible server either, as he has a board at the back announcing publicly that he serves alcohol to minors. In the UK, you need to be 18 years old or above to be served alcohol, and you can be challenged to show ID if you look under 25. So it's clear so far that the town is really strange, and for some weird reason, even though everybody's busy, seemingly, with their own tasks and life, they tend to revolve it around the salesperson. They keep interacting with him and asking him to help them. Entering a sea of booze in the pub, seemingly being in a barrel, salesperson sees the locksmith Ronnie as a beer bottle and the landlord Larry as a wine bottle, talking to each other. After managing to exit this surreal world, the salesman goes to get a butter from Mother Meg's buttery goods shop and helps the stuck man out. Weirdly, the man didn't seem to need any butter for lubrication to slip out anyway, as when people try to help pull him out, the entire grate is broken out with some bits of the ground.
Ooh, hello. Rightio, chaps. Ready for one last tug-a-roo? Grab a hold of my forum. On my mark. 3, 2, 1. Go! Ooh. What's this? 'Twas nary a tuppence. 'Twas a threepence. Pray tell, young threepence, where best to spend ye? What ho, what luck? A wishing well. Godspeed, young threepence.
Oh, you blooming turnip. In for a penny!
The salesman uses the sewers and exits from Marge's Chippo, being a fish and chips shop. This happens to be something useful with our little adventure, as this will be a path that our little salesman will use frequently. Being on the other side of the town now, all the characters seem to be really thankful the small little salesman is there. They even keep on saying, "Thank goodness you're here," as if the protagonist has been expected or if the characters are unable to do their own tasks without his help. It just seems as if everything, bizarrely, revolves around the protagonist as the center of the world in the game.
Thank goodness you're here.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. I've been sucking this pipe all morning. I haven't got a drop out of it.
Thank goodness you're here, lad. This store's a madness.
Thank goodness you're here.
Our little yellow-faced hero finally gets to Big Run's Big Pies, who just like many others is desperate for his help. Big Run has run out of meat, a necessary ingredient for his pies. Without them, he is devastated and cannot open shop to sell his famous pies. The townsfolk are very demanding and ask the salesman to run their errands, treating him like their errand boy. In the meantime, we go back to Margie's Fish and Chips, where we see Jasper yet again trying to fix the plumbing. Here Jasper looks enormous, as if he is a colossal titan. This is in contradiction to what his true size is, as before he was seen not to be much larger than the little salesman. So what is this distortion of reality and why is it not consistent? Following Salesman's little adventure, he finds himself in Price Shagger's corner shop again, where Carrie, the cashier, is having a rat infestation problem. This takes us down another rabbit hole, or more accurately here, a rat den, where we go up to the ceiling through a crack, finding the rat sanctuary and society. We find a chapel where they worship a cheese ball, with a big rat safeguarding the door to their little society. The rats are so advanced, running an intricate little replica of the corner shop, which they call Mice shaggers. I guess you could say the idea got lost in translation here. We find Jasper's screwdriver here, with Jasper appearing out of blue, back to his normal size, complaining how his tools keep getting nicked. Eventually, going to Sam's Ham's meat shop, Salesman falls into a steak, which takes him into a surreal meat dimension. This is the second surreal dimension Salesman has traveled to, following the beer dimension. The salesman has to beat the meat here, who all tell dark stories of Sam's past about his abusive father.
One dark winter's night, my father brought me and my sisters a lamb each, and put a single sheep knife between us. Mine, the run to the litter, jolted as I made the cut. It bleated and bled for a fortnight, and I wept. 3 years old, my father, mistaking me for a small cut of venison, hung me out in smokehouse. It was nearly a day dangling over the embers before my sisters found me. By then, I was already stricken with a black lung. The doctor said I shan't likely see my 12th summer, and I wept.
Do you know how glue is made? I do. I found out when I was only 7 years old, after my mum went lame. Father took her to knackers that very same evening, and I wept.
Eventually, the cuts of meat join together to make a grotesque amalgamation which consumes the salesman, teleporting him with a steak to Big Ron's pie shop. Helping Ron here, he manages to make one of his biggest pies yet, which he promotes on the telly.
Right! I've forgotten the most important ingredient! Pie mix. Here we are, I'm sure there's the number in here somewhere. Ah, here it is. Pastry Pete's Premium Mixture Company Pie Mixture Delivery for Pies.biz.
Pastry Pete's Premium Mixture Company, Pie Mixture Delivery for Pies.biz. Horrible raw.
All right, lad. Get your send down to Big Ron's, where we've made our biggest pie yet.
Big Ron, how big is the pie?
It's a pie so big, you could feed a family of 5 for 40 years, and you'd still have enough for supper. It's a pie so big, you'd get lost in it. It's a pie so big, I have dreamt of it since I was a small boy. A pie so big that I feel as if I have been finding my way.
Now, love, I know you've told me before, but why can't you just, well, you know, make your pies a bit bigger?
A villainous rivalry is then made, as Tiny Tom, who makes the tiny pies, watches this on the television, becoming infuriated by Ron's success. We saw one of Tiny Tom's commercials on the TV before heading to Barnsworth. To make the matters worse, Tom's wife calls to him, asking why he simply won't make his pies bigger. This is seemingly the last straw, making Tiny Tom become the villain rival, just like Plankton to Mr. Crab. Eventually, Jasper manages to unclog Margie's pipes, leading to the hot oil drain into the town's fountain, splashing everyone with hot oil and giving them nasty third-degree burns. Regardless, the town goes back to normal, with no one seemingly caring about it. Then we are sent on more and more fetch quests, making it a nightmare for the salesman, who was sent here just to offer their product to the mayor. One thing leads to another, and Jasper asks the salesman to go and get some spirit-level bubbles as he's trying to fix the oil leak in the fountain. That's when he captures a magical bubble and is sent up to the sky floating, when it bursts and he free falls, falling directly on Bootleg Bell, putting the net around him. Bootleg Bell has been going around selling fake or dysfunctional items to buyers, scamming them. The cop of the town has been looking for him, as Bell has been single-handedly increasing the crime rate in the town. The salesman, on top of running so many errands for the townsfolk, accidentally captures the criminal of the town who's been on the loose. This makes him the hero of the town, with people celebrating it.
He's got him! Finally got him! Hey! Three cheers! Hip, hip, hurrah!
Now, settle down, settle down. Thanks to this young man's incredible police work, I can safely declare bootlegging in this town has been knocked on the head.
Despite all that, the incompetence of the town and police is clearly depicted, as they all get distracted while Bill runs into the alley, with a text on the screen confirming Bill is still at large. Back to one of the other fetch quests, where we meet a sleepy guy with really stretchy arms who has been bedbound. We help him get a can of breakfast blend in the Price Shaggers, which has an expiry date of 1940, with the man saying that it's expired for 40 years, which isn't too bad.
Get me breakfast blend. And only 40 years out of date. We'll take the lot. Whoop-de-doo.
I mean, what kind of world are we living in here? And why is the salesman not questioning any of this? This convolutes the timeline even more, with the chronology being all messed up. After helping the folks down with their errands, we see a familiar face being comforted by Ron. Raj has had a rough life, being bullied and discriminated against for having a large head, and that is why he has frequent breakdowns. Take a look at this cutscene and how horrible it has been for him.
I'm sorry, Mr. Peelings. We did everything we could.
Roses are red, violets are blue, Roger's got a big head and he's a massive bellend.
Hurry up, Peelings, that pool isn't going to pay itself.
Sorry, mister. It's company policy.
Peas. Not quite peas. Not quite beans. But something special.
Never mind them, love. I like it. I can't keep pretending anymore, Roger. It's just too big.
Ooh. It's just too big. Too big.
That won't fit.
No.
Extra large.
Too big. This is a family restaurant.
Too big. Too big.
Not
Just
today.
too big.
Too big.
Tommy's got a big head.
Too big. Just be friends.
Right then, Rog. I'll see you next week.
Ron, being a kind-hearted man, invites him down the pub where they meet other townsfolk, such as Jasper the handyman, Larry and Ronnie, and the gardener, and they then have a great time together. The salesman then goes to the bedbound man and pushes the bowl of soup to him, but it pours all over the place, with the remains seeping through the floorboard cracks, getting to the bowl of the downstairs neighbor.
Love, your dinner's ready. Love?
Hey, love, look who's come for tea.
Hello, lovey. Just in time for soup. All homemade. But oh no, it looks as if our cuckoo clock is broken.
They seem to be a couple who are taking the salesman as a guest. They sit him on the table and go on to offer him the bowl. But, of course, it is not over for the salesman, as he is the piggyback ride of the townsfolk, with everyone taking advantage of him and making him run their errands. The wife drops the bowl on purpose and forces the salesman to fix the cuckoo clock. As it turns out, the town seems to be very demanding and needy, asking the salesman to do more and more, with their tasks never running out. They even go the length of singing him a magnificent song of all the tasks that they want him to run.
All homemade. But oh no, it looks as if our cuckoo clock is broken.
Oh dear, it's really broke. Please won't you help us fix our clock?
Forget that clock and batch this mole. We need to knock him down the hall.
Your garden's fine. Come here instead and help me slice my crusty bread.
Spin my grinder round and round, don't stop until my meat is ground.
I think it's still a little broke. Help us fix our ticky-tock.
Where have you been, lad? Can't you see? There's 40 moles and one of me.
Shall we cut a proper slice? Move the handle left and right?
Spinning quickly is the key to make the mince for shepherd's tea.
That meaty ground come help with this. I need to chop up all my fish.
Help me, please, I'm in distress. I just can't see with all this mess.
So as it appears, the tasks never come to an end, and the salesman has to repeatedly help out with the tasks of the town. That's until he cannot take it anymore and runs to the mayor's office having a panic attack to seek some refuge. As he gets there, the receptionist says that he is just on time and he can see the mayor. As he goes into the mayor's office, the mayor himself seems to be no better than the other townsfolk and asks the salesman to get him mustard for his sandwich. In a way, you could say this is truly a never-ending nightmare where the salesman is being punished.
Ah, thank goodness you're here. I'm just about to tuck into this delicious amsani, and I've lost the mayoral mustard.
Salespeople in general need to be patient and willing to talk to people about anything and everything, because more than anything, they need to be presentable and sell their own honesty and personality. They need to pitch themselves for the customers to buy their products. Despite the protagonist being patient, as the townsfolk go on demanding the same tasks again and again, his patience runs out and he finally comes to the boiling point where he cannot take it anymore. He feels the mayor's office as the sanctuary that he so badly needs to get some refuge from the townsfolk. But the mayor himself seems to be demanding and sending the salesman on another fetch quest. In a way, you could say that this is really a hell. A fetch quest hell. So now knowing the summary of the story, throughout the game, the events and encounters of the protagonist became more and more bizarre. To begin with, the story seems to take place in the 1980s, but as we go along deeper in the rabbit hole, the chronology seems to be all messed up. Helping the sleepy man, he looks at the breakfast blend can, which has the expiry date of 1940. Who says 40 years past the expiry date isn't too bad, which suggests that the story takes place in 1980. But when we look at the receptionist's computer, she is playing solitaire, which became widely available on Windows PCs in 1990. We also see a man who is spreading leaflets, having a little petition to bring asbestos back, a harmful material that became banned in 1999. So it seems the game is taking place in its own dimension, where the timeline is mixed up, taking references from different timelines. The characters all seem off and non-human as well. They tend to look and sound human and have similar routines and habits, such as arguing with each other about petty things such as someone using the rubbish bins, as we see two neighbors doing that. Jasper always blaming different people for his missing tools. Two sisters being Florence and Carrie, fighting over a boy called Colin, and other human flaws and imperfections with many inappropriate innuendos. But at the same time, we get these otherworldly acid trips to different dimensions where the salesman goes to a meat dimension and a beer dimension, and also a cow dimension where we have a milk jacuzzi, which has a very interesting outcome and an ending.
So I went and I said, oh my.
No. Yes. Oh no. Yes.
Milk shy no more.
Few too many, eh, lad? Come on. You can sleep it off down the station.
As we meet more people and help out with more tasks, they tend to load up more and more, with all of them being ridiculous. Tasks that can easily be handled by the ones asking for help. For example, Ron asks for meat while he can get it himself, or he can also ask Florence to fetch it for him. The sleepy man asks for help with groceries while he has unreal large flexible arms that reach the corner shop. And of course, the officer cannot catch a single petty scammer. And even when the salesman mistakenly catches him, they just let him go. Think about it. None of what salesman experiences feels or seems real. It all seems as if these characters are placed specifically there just for him to suffer and go on never-ending looping fetch quests. The townsfolk also seem to be hiding secrets from him. In the very beginning, we see a man sleeping on the park bench with a newspaper over his face. A newspaper that reports on the rising crime rate with bootleg big on the front page. Something that is seemingly put there for salesperson's attention. When the newspaper falls off the sleeping man's face, he peeks around with one of his eyes, looking at this salesman pretending to be sleeping. At the end, we also see Jasper sending salesman on another ridiculous fetch quest. He is laughing and seems to be hiding something.
Why don't you head down to Price Shaggers and pick us up some spirit level bubbles? Hey boys! How does that sound? Right, away you go!
As we go to the corner shop, Florence is on the telephone, seemingly with Jasper, who is instructing her about something.
Oh yeah. He's here now.
As soon as we walk in, she nervously stops talking and tells us to get the bubbles that we were sent for and locks the door behind us. At this point, the world has become even more surreal, with large bubbles floating, which lift the salesman into the sky, who falls several meters down, but gets away with no injury and miraculously captures the bootleg bill. In the final song, you see how the couple invite the salesman for some supper, but then throw the bowl away and demand that they need their cuckoo clock fixed, a reference to cuckoo. At this point, it's very clear all the townsfolk seem to be in on an intricate plan. A twisted plan which makes the salesman run tiring and repeating tasks. After capturing bootleg, they simply let him run, and the copper asks salesman to go after him. Again, there seems to be a criminal who is all over the newspaper and the talk of the town, someone they badly need to capture. It was so specific for Jasper to ask salesman to get the bubbles, just for him to fly and then drop exactly where bootleg is. And then everyone celebrates, just for him to run and salesman to be tasked to catch him again. Despite the townsfolk being friendly and warm, easy to talk to and interact with, they hide a dark, sinister secret. And that is to make the salesman run errands that they intentionally design, even if there's no need, with them being perfectly fine doing the tasks themselves. They want the salesman to suffer and be eternally trapped in this town, which seems colorful and charming at first, but turns out to be a surreal nightmare, a true madhouse. So what is the truth behind this world, which starts normal but soon turns into a hellish fever dream?
Strange place, I know, but they need what we're selling, see?
For that, we need to go way back to the beginning, when salesman is being instructed by his boss to go to this little town called Barnsworth. The boss seems to be the only normal character within the game, someone who has a bad temper and instructs salesman to pitch their product to the mayor. We see the images on the wall as the employee of the month, where the boss has arrogantly put his own images up for several years, but an action which tells a story. Through the images we see, he has continuously lost his hair, possibly due to stress. The office water has been labeled as leaded, which is a toxic element causing the brain to deteriorate over time, making prolonged exposure lead to intellectual disability and behavioral disorders. This is followed by salesman quite literally jumping out of the window on a 10th floor building, making the boss and the other employees behind the glass gasp in horror, shocked that he chose to take a dive down the window rather than choosing to go through the front door.
Good grief, lad. The front door's right there. We're 10 stories up for crying out loud.
After that, we land in an intercity bus, which takes us straight to a complete different town, up to Barnsworth, exactly where we needed to be. And that is with Salesman sustaining no injuries whatsoever. Not as much of a scratch. So let's say if Salesman has been drinking diluted water for years working in this organization, it probably left irreparable damage to his brain, deteriorating his mind and causing him to be intellectually impaired. The jump from the window wasn't something normal, making everyone gasp, which is something that leads to his actual death. If we go over the story, how many times the salesman goes through tight pipes, jumps from roofs, down the chimney and onto the ground in Barnsworth, and not one person even raises an eyebrow. He keeps breaking things and goes through things that would certainly kill a person, but no one seems to mind anything that he does, and they even encourage him. Why would the office employees gasp and actually call him out on his decision to jump down the window? Well, it seems as if the jump, due to the intellectual impairment, has done it for him, and has taken him into an afterlife world, where he lives through a surreal version of the town, known as Barnsworth. All the events following in there seem to be inspired by the real people living there, heavily influenced by the commercials that he watched before he goes. His mind makes up this town in a twisted and distorted manner based on what he knows from the town. And that is why everything seems to be unreal in there. The characters tend to have supernatural abilities. They distort in size and shape. The events taking place seem surreal, and the salesman himself has these strange acid trips. So Barnsworth, or this twisted version of it, seems to be some sort of hell or some sort of purgatory, where he has to suffer for eternity for the sins that he had committed back in his own life. We don't know much about him and his previous life, so it is difficult to confirm that he was a sinner. But whatever he experiences seems to be an elaborate creation of a purgatory for him, where his patience is tested, as after all, he is a salesman, a career which requires patience and persistence. This punishment doesn't seem so bad though, right? After all, he can simply refuse to help. But something we shouldn't forget is that each character has their own story, including potatoes, flowers, and animals. They make the salesman care for them, and strangely, he seems unable to refuse a helping hand. At the end of it all, he is an individual everyone is thankful for showing up, as everyone repeats the same saying, "Thank goodness that you're here," followed by never-ending errands. And that is it for this video, folks. I really enjoyed making it. As always, it's been your host Star. Stay tuned by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.